During the next half hour, we'll take you to Holy Name Cathedral for a look back at the Pallium Mass. Our cameras were at a sunrise prayer service to herald the beginning of a new school year. We'll join thousands of hockey fans for a photo session with the Stanley Cup at Marist High School. And we'll talk with Archbishop Cupich about his recent visit to Rome. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Hello, I'm Todd Williamson from the Office for Divine Worship with the Archdiocese of Chicago, and joining me here in studio, as always, is Archbishop Cupich. Archbishop, it's always good to see you.
Todd, good to be with you again.
Thank you. You've been traveling a bit lately.
That's right.
You recently had a trip to Rome with the Catholic Extension Society and their leadership team. You had an audience with the Pope. Tell us about the trip.
Well, the Catholic Extension Society, as you know, was founded 110 years ago by Francis Clement Kelly, a priest of the Archdiocese, who really was concerned about those churches in missionary territories, rural areas, that would not be able to even build churches and places of worship. So he began a national home missions effort, and 5 years into his work, it became a papal society. And so as we celebrated the 110th anniversary of Catholic Extension and the 105th anniversary as a papal society, we decided to bring the board of trustees, I'm the chancellor, Father Jack Wall is the president, to Rome for our annual meeting and retreat. And it gave us an opportunity as well to kind of give an introduction to the Holy Father about the trip that he's going to make to the United States, realizing he can't go everywhere, but the mission dioceses very much wanted to be a part of the visit.
All right, and I understand that you introduced him to Flat Francis?
Yes, in fact, we had a wonderful moment in which he came over to the group after the Wednesday audience, and Father Jack Wall held up Flat Francis, it's called, and it just created a moment of great humor. The Holy Father chuckled, and it was caught on tape, and I think that maybe some of your viewers are going to see that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just for our viewers, what is Flat Francis?
Well, Flat Francis is a kind of a promotional device that's used in other areas where there is an image of someone, and the person can't be there all the places, but he shows up every place. So the Holy Father has been throughout the United States as his cartoon version to let people know that they're linked to him. And here we had actually Pope Francis meets Flat Francis.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Also recently, the papal nuncio, who is the Pope's delegate here in the United States, was here in Chicago and conferred on you the Pallium on a Sunday afternoon at Holy Name Cathedral.
I have come to this Cathedral of the Holy Name today in the Church of Chicago to bestow upon you, Archbishop, the Pallium, which has existed in the great tradition of the Catholic Church since the 4th century. The pallium with which Archbishop Cupich will now be invested, and which he will wear over his liturgical vestments, is made from the wool of those lambs given to the Holy Father and blessed by him on the feast of St. Agnes. It has rested in a special silver container near the tomb of St. Peter, the rock upon whom the Lord has built his church.
Tell us the significance of that experience.
Well, as you know, I received the Pallium directly from the Holy Father on the 29th of June at the St. Peter's Basilica after the Mass, and then I brought it back here for the formal imposition on me, and the papal nuncio was charged to do that. And it was an occasion in which we just let the cathedral be open to anybody who wanted to come. And I really was hesitant about what the crowd could be, because it's a Sunday afternoon towards the end of the summer. People are still on vacation. But I was very pleased that we had a full crowd, and it was a wonderful celebration.
It was. The bishops of the province were there with you as part of this?
Right, and some of the bishops of the region, because immediately after that, our region went on retreat at Mundelein Seminary, or at Stritch Retreat House. And it really was a wonderful occasion, bringing back what we did on the 18th of November for my installation. It brought it full circle.
Yeah, kind of was the final formal liturgy for that event.
2 bookends.
Yes, exactly. And it was attended not just by Chicagoans, but it was attended by representatives and people from the other dioceses in the province. So it really was a nice provincial celebration.
Well, yes, and we were so pleased that they were generous to send people from the other dioceses, and it made a very for us a very warm moment for the church within the province of Chicago to celebrate together.
Nice. That came and was celebrated just a little bit before the opening of a new school year. So we're going to switch topics here, because there have been some changes here in the Archdiocese of Chicago. We have a new superintendent of Catholic schools, Dr. Jim Rigg. He comes to us from the Archdiocese of Cincinnati. What are your hopes for this new superintendent for the new school year?
Well, first of all, I want to thank the school board of the Archdiocese and the selection committee. They worked for 7 months to identify a good fit for us, and went through a number of steps to identify candidates. It was a national search. And we're very pleased that Dr. Rigg accepted our invitation to come here. I think he comes with many talents and experiences. We want to continue to make our schools more vibrant, stronger. We also need to look for ways in which Catholic identity can continue to be a centerpiece of who we are. And also, it is for us very important that we garner the support not just of parents who have children in our schools, or even those parishes that have schools. But this is a mission of the entire Archdiocese. So that's why in the To Teach You Christ campaign that the Cardinal George launched, was aimed at making sure that we all understand that we're in this together. Catholic schools are a part of our mission. And so I know that Dr. Rigg is going to have the sensitivity to move that agenda forward.
It's not just for those Catholics who happen to have children,
right,
but it's part of all of our mission.
Well, it is, and the other part of it is that there are many people who don't have children in schools, Catholic schools, but have benefited directly or indirectly. Maybe they're graduates and alumni of the various Catholic schools in this diocese or elsewhere, or maybe their children and grandchildren have attended. So that's why my understanding is that when we pull together, we can really do great things.
Nice, very, very nice. The new school year has also seen the beginning, in many ways, of a brand new Catholic school, the Father Augustus Tolton Catholic Academy,
right,
which is new. It's a merger of the 2 schools from St. Columbanus and St. Dorothy Parish. It's housed at St. Columbanus Parish, and our videographer Brian Brock was there for opening day.
Great.
Let's take a look.
Wonderful.
The pastor of St. Dorothy's, Father Bob Miller, and I started a conversation together last fall about our low enrollment and the cost that it takes to actually run our schools. And we realized that we needed to come together so that we can make sure we have a presence here in the community for years to come.
Ready for a new day.
We're gathered this morning for the first day of Tolton Academy, and so it's the merger of St. Columbanus and St. Dorothy schools. I'm really excited about this upcoming year. We have 250 students registered today on this first day. We have a brand new curriculum. We're going to focus on a STREAM curriculum: science, technology, religion, engineering, arts, and math. We have $50,000 worth of new textbooks and curriculum material, a brand new wireless infrastructure. We're creating a STREAM lab that'll have a new science lab, technology center, Imani faith room, and an art studio. So there's lots of things that are brand new here at Tolton Academy, and lots to be excited about.
Father Matt O'Donnell, a good friend of our office, is very supportive and obviously very excited about this new Augustus Tolton Catholic Academy.
Well, you know, he's a young priest with a lot of energy, like so many of our priests who are dedicated each and every day. He cares about the young people going there. And it was an effort to make sure that we strengthen schools in this part of town, and of course having it named after Augustine Tolton, a priest of this archdiocese who, an African American who really is a wonderful example to young people. And you know, his cause is being promoted for sainthood, and we're really following that with great dedication, and there are a lot of people supporting that effort as well. But when we have this new effort, we want to make sure that we respect the heritage of the two schools, and that's why a new name was necessary, so that not one or the other would be dominant, but that we would see this as a new opportunity.
Right, and Father Augustus himself ministered on the south side of Chicago, so it's quite significant to have this named after him.
Well, yes, and I think that's important. A lot of people say to me that young people who come to our schools, many of them maybe are not Catholic, but we don't do it because they're Catholic, we do it because we're Catholic. And providing education to people, I think, is part of the mission of the Church. That's why we're putting in good resources in that new venture, and we want it to succeed.
Sure. Last topic in regard to the new school year, it began with a celebration on the lakefront at Oakwood Beach, a Mass and prayer service for peace. Our videographer Mike May was there for that, so let's take a look
great.
at this.
As the sun rose over Lake Michigan on a recent August morning, Catholic faithful gathered on Chicago Beach. They came for the annual sunrise prayer service and Mass for nonviolence and peace. The event was organized by the Black Catholic Deacons of the Archdiocese of Chicago.
We're here to pray, but we also have work to do. Each and every one of us. We have to go back to our churches, back to our communities and our jobs, and get everybody praying for a healing and doing what we can to ensure that our children can have a safe place to grow up, just like most of us did.
The prayer service and Mass on the lakefront included music, liturgical dance, and Holy Communion. Father Tom Walsh, pastor of St. Martin de Porres Parish, gave the homily.
Here we are at a back-to-school type of Mass. That's what this is about, praying for the safety of our school children. But the voices tell us that since 2006, 1,043 young people aged 20 and under have been the victims of homicides. That's 1,043 young school-aged people whose lives were ended by violence, whose dreams were crushed. And the voices say to us, whatever happens is going to happen. Let it go. You can't change that. It's going to happen sooner or later. How are we going to respond to all those voices? Well, we need to invite Jesus to come into our lives and to come into our communities and to lay his hands upon us so that all of us and all our people may be healed and may be brought back to life.
After the homily, Archbishop Cupich spoke to the hundreds of people in attendance.
You are, in many ways, the people who come together to give hope, to let us know there's another day. Even though there's darkness in the world, the darkness now gives way to the sunrise. But today we are here not just because the sun has risen. It is not the light of the world. You are the light of the world.
The Archbishop's remarks resonated with the gathered faithful and gave hope that their prayers will be answered through action.
I believe there's always hope. If only we could get some of our politicians and legislators together to agree on a common focus on this whole problem of violence in society, do something about gun retention, those kinds of things, to lessen people's tendency to solve their problems with the gun.
From Oakwood Beach in Chicago, I'm Michael May reporting for Catholic Chicago.
A nice celebration. Archbishop, what's the significance of starting the school year with a prayer for peace?
Well, I think it's very important. You know, this ceremony has been organized over the years by the Black Deacons of the Archdiocese,
right.
who are concerned, as I am, with the growing violence in our neighborhoods. And they felt it was important for the Church, for the Archdiocese, to do something very public and calling for peace, not just peace against wars in the world, but peace in our neighborhoods and peace in the hearts of everyone.
Thanks for your thoughts on the school year, Archbishop. There's more to come here on Catholic Chicago. We'll take you to Holy Name Cathedral Courtyard for the World Day of Prayer for the Care of Creation. We'll be back in just a moment.
To Teach Who Christ Is, a campaign for Catholic education and faith formation.
I believe that when we are teaching about Jesus Christ to our students, that gives the greatest role model that we could possibly have.
You will have the basic tools to make good moral decisions that will affect your future.
Academics are great here, and if you don't understand something, the teachers will work with you to help you understand.
Religious education classes help my children to see the difference between right and wrong and make the right decision.
To Teach Who Christ Is will be rolled out in parishes across the Archdiocese of Chicago over a 3-year period. To find out more about this major fundraising campaign for Catholic education and faith formation, go to toteachwhochrist.org.
When I grow up, I want to use my education to help other people and, teach others about God.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
Welcome back to Catholic Chicago. I'm Todd Williamson here with Archbishop Cupich. We're going to begin this segment of our program by taking viewers to an evening prayer service in the Holy Name Cathedral Courtyard. It was part of the World Day of Prayer for the Care of Creation, September 1st. The homilist for the evening was the newly appointed President and Rector of the University of St. Mary of the Lake Mundelein Seminary, Father John Carci.
When Francis announced that this day was coming, he released a letter. And I'm sure lots of us have read Laudato Si', it's wonderful, comprehensive, brilliant text. But go back and pull up the tiny little letter he released announcing that this day was coming. And there's a line in it that really struck me. He says, "As Christians, we wish to contribute to resolving the ecological crisis which humanity is presently experiencing." Fine, that's true. You could have heard that 5, 10, 20 years ago. Yes, absolutely. We want to contribute to solving this crisis. But then why? Why are we gathered here? Why do we gather year after year? Why do people like me hold up dirty bottles and we all kind of, oh yeah, I walked by that bottle yesterday? Because in the very next sentence he says, we must first rediscover in our own rich spiritual heritage the deepest motivations for our concern for the care of creation. We must rediscover in our own rich spiritual heritage why we care. We have to rediscover it. Can't assume that it's automatically there. We can say the words, we can look at the ugliness and say, that's awful. We can look at the beauty and say, wow, I want more of that. But we need to rediscover why we should really care.
Some good, solid comments from Father Carci.
Well, he is a man of many, many gifts. You know, he has a doctorate in Scripture from Catholic University, but before that, he earned a degree, a doctorate in astrophysics.
Really?
So people are kidding me that I appointed a rocket scientist as the president-rector of Mundelein. He is really off to a great start, as you can see from that little clip of the homily that he gave, and so we're expecting just tremendous things of him and Mundelein going forward.
He was actually a deacon in his transitional year at my parish.
Oh,
and so and he is in the biblical department at Mundelein,
right.
I believe, right?
Exactly, and he was at the Shield Center as the chaplain for the students
right.
at Northwestern. So a wide experience, and it really, I think, is a good and a new moment for the seminary.
Wonderful, wonderful. Another topic, every year, Holy Name Cathedral plays to a full house of hundreds of couples who celebrate 50 years of marriage. During the Golden Wedding Anniversary Mass, couples have the opportunity to renew their vows.
I ask the husbands and wives to turn to each other, and the husbands first say with me, I renew to you the promise to be made to you 50 years ago. We have been growing older together. We have together seen good times and bad, sickness and health. We have seen our love deepen. I will stand by you now, and I will love you all the days of my life. And for the wives, I renew to you the promise I made to you 50 years ago. We have been growing older together. We have together seen good times and bad, sickness and health. We have seen our love. I will stand by you, and I will love you all the days of my life. On behalf of the Church, I accept your words, your promise. I congratulate you on your past, but also pray for you in the years to come. Our congratulations.
What a wonderful celebration. It's an annual event here in Chicago, and of course I'm sure it's not the first time that you celebrated an anniversary Mass, but it was the first time that you celebrated the annual 50th anniversary Golden Wedding Anniversary Mass here. How was it?
Well, it was really overwhelming. You're right, I have celebrated these kind of ceremonies in my other dioceses, but this one had over 400 couples, right. Just imagine, who were celebrating 50 years and more. And what I did on that occasion as they renewed their vows is I took them back to the text, the actual text that was read in the old rite for marriage, so that they could hear words that were familiar to them over 50 years. And a lot of people afterwards came up to me and told me that they really appreciated being brought back in time to that moment, to hear those words, and because they're not used anymore, but they're very well crafted. They were crafted by the rector of the cathedral in San Francisco, who was the rector at the time of Archbishop Reardon, who was a Chicago priest.
Oh my.
So it was a nice connection, and they really seemed to warm to that, to those words that were familiar.
Not to put you on the spot, but off the top of your head, do you recall those words, or even the tone of those words?
Well, yes. They end with a very wonderful phrase. There's an exhortation about the demands of marriage and how they are given God's grace, and how they also must make an effort. But then it ends, and the rest is in the hands of God.
Oh my!
And it probably gave those people who were thinking about the past how much they had to depend on putting things in God's hands.
Yeah, yeah. Many people speak of marriage as a vocation, and truly, celebration of 50 years of that really gives some testimony to that.
Well, and that word vocation is so important because it means that they're called, and people are not just called once, they're called every day. And the people who were there, I think, understood that every day they had to be called to that marriage.
Wow, what just a great celebration. That's wonderful.
That's great.
Our last topic for the show today involves the Stanley Cup. Recently visited Marist High School.
Good.
Thousands of people attended and had their picture taken with the cup. And Jim Dish from Radio and TV Office has a report on that.
Oh, great.
The Stanley Cup pulls into Marist High School on Chicago's far south side with a police escort. Hockey's biggest prize came to Marist thanks to Chicago Blackhawks head trainer Mike Gapsky. He just finished his 28th season with the Hawks, and his ties to Marist also run deep.
I was raised a Catholic, and I believe in the church and things like that, and we wanted to hold that same kind of beliefs with my family. And as I got married, we sent our kids to Incarnation Catholic School, and then we send them on to Marist for the Catholic education because we are of the Catholic faith.
It was an exciting day at Marist, with thousands of people waiting for a photo op with the cup.
I'll tell you, it's one of the most exciting days we've had. Anytime something like the Stanley Cup can come here, and the Gapsky family, a great Marist supporters, and that being able to bring it here, and it's a great event for Marist High School, but really for the community. When I look at the size of the crowd and the lines, and people were here lining up this morning at 7 o'clock this morning, so just a great event.
The Stanley Cup sat on a table in the middle of a large display board, cut out in the middle to allow for 2 photo lines instead of 1. Fans paid a few bucks to memorialize their brief moment with the cup, with proceeds going to the Marist hockey team.
Oh my God, love the Hawks. Stanley Cup, seeing it, Austin touching it. It's a great experience.
Oh, this meant the world to me, honestly. I'm still shaking. Yeah. I was over there like, how am I going to pose with it? Like, what am I going to do? So exciting.
We're here to see the Stanley Cup in person. We've been watching it for years, since 2010, and we finally get a picture with it. We're pretty excited.
What's it mean to you guys? It means a lot. We saw it in 2013, but we never got to actually take a picture with it and touch it, so it's pretty cool to do that. How about you?
It was cool to see it and to take a picture with it.
You guys play hockey?
No.
Well, I'm really hoping this is not their last chance to see the cup, but I don't think you have this opportunity that often, and this little guy really wanted to come. So he watched all the games with us and wanted to come, and he wasn't even born yet when they won, so he's just 3 weeks old.
How long of a wait?
We got here at 7:30, so we've been waiting, I guess it's about 3 hours, so not too bad, but we're happy to get a picture.
And while thousands of people got their opportunity for a Stanley Cup keepsake, Principal Larry Tucker took time out for a shout-out to Catholic education.
I tell you, Catholic education as a whole is a great thing. I tell you, the values the kids take away from it. Marist High School here, we pride ourselves on being able to prepare kids for life, not just college, but beyond. And so it's a great place to be. We've got about 1,700 students here at Marist High School and been around for 52 years. So we're hoping for another 52 years.
It's phenomenal. It's just, it's something that I never dreamed possible. The great thing is I've got 3 Stanley Cups, I've got 3 boys, I got 3 rings. So each one gets a ring.
And if you only counted 2 rings, Mike will get his 3rd ring at what is expected to be a private Blackhawk celebration in late September or early October. From Marist High School, I'm Jim Dish reporting for Catholic Chicago.
You can watch that story again and view hundreds of other Catholic videos on our YouTube channels. youtube.com/Catholic Chicago and youtube.com/Chicago Cattolico. Nice plugs, nice comments there about the Catholic education we were talking about earlier, all surrounding the Stanley Cup.
Right, and of course when you segued from talking about those who were married for 50 years into this, and at Catholic schools we're talking about 3 winners.
There you are, exactly that. Great idea upon which to end this show. Archbishop, as always, it's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Todd. Good to be with you.
I'm Todd Williamson. You've been watching Catholic Chicago. We'll see you again next time.
We invite you to watch segments of Catholic Chicago and hundreds of additional Catholic videos at youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter.